Here on The Colour of Country Life, great to be chatting with Shane Jurek. He's the lead Senate candidate for the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party in New South Wales in this May 21 federal election. How are you going, Shane?
Yeah, good, thanks, Ricky. Thanks for having me on the program.
Yeah, not a problem. Now, looking back at your history, you're in the Hawkesbury region and you're involved in the bee industry, I understand.
Yeah, that's right. I'm from Windsor. We're at the base of the Blue Mountains along the Hawkesbury River. I'm a third-generation honey producer. We've been producing honey since 1960, and that's a hobby I now enjoy with my eldest daughter, Brooke. So she's 22 and she's an apprentice carpenter, but honey production's a hobby for her, but it's more of an income for me.
Yeah, just on that, we do sort of pick this up from time to time. Are there risks going into the future when it comes to honey production? How does the industry stand? What are the threats to that industry?
We do have a large problem, and in fact, a few years ago, we lost our apiary to the small hive beetle. And now we've got a concern. I think foul brood's a major concern that's killing a lot of bees, and I think we need to do more on that front. But we've now got a concern about more issues coming in from overseas, so we need more security around that.
Yeah, and when you say overseas stuff, is this sort of product that's coming in that sort of imitates, maybe it isn't even actually honey?
Look, there is that issue, but I think consumers are aware of that, and that's why little private honey producers are doing so well. But we've got more of an issue of the shipping containers coming in with live bees inside the shipping containers, and they're carrying mites and stuff on the actual bees. And that's a massive risk to the apiculture in this country.
Yeah, biosecurity is an important one. And when you look at your party title, Shooters, Fishers and Farmers, that's one for the farmers. But your party's probably best known for its policy when it comes to firearms owners. What are the major policy initiatives you want to pursue federally for them?
Yeah, look, I think the shooting aspect is just a part of the party, and we're so much more than that now. But the main issue we have around shooting policy is we want very heavy laws against and mandatory sentencing around gun crime. So we want to be hard on that so we can protect the law-abiding citizens that have gun ownership.
Yeah, so tough on, I guess, illegal movement and trading in firearms. But for the lawful, firearms club members and that sort of things, what do you want to pursue for them in the federal parliament?
Well, we just want we do want to invest money and make sure that that's something that continues, and we want to protect that industry from over-governance.
Yeah, and I noticed the federal government, the Liberal National Coalition, have gone fairly strong when it comes to feral animal control. You've got pig issues in the western parts of New South Wales. There's clearly a place for lawful firearms owners to participate in making sure that those numbers are kept down so it doesn't impact farmers adversely.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And we certainly don't want to be dropping 1080 into national parks and that sort of stuff where we're killing every animal in a 5-kilometre radius. So it's definitely, I think, the way to go in reducing in pest control, that's for sure.
So in your tilt for the Senate, it's going to be heavily contested. They call it the tablecloth in New South Wales, how big the Senate ballot paper is. To stand out amongst that crowd, what's your major policy initiative you want to pursue federally?
Well, look, I think both major parties are doing us a favour. I mean, whilst I've primarily been focused on local issues, I'm now talking to communities across the state to see how they can be better represented. And on that point, I want to say that I know a little bit about the Murray regions. I have family in Echuca and Rochi, and my brother lived in Moama for a few years. So I know that the south of the state is lacking in a few areas. I know the Murray just got a second river crossing from Echuca to Moama, but that was over 3 generations in the making. And on completion, there was a lot of politicians patting themselves on the back and much fanfare amongst themselves and political grandstanding. And it's that sort of behaviour that upset communities on both sides of the river, because it was lobbying and the hard work by everyday people fighting our politicians to get the job done, which leads me to say that the least rewarded quality of a constituent is loyalty. I mean, historically, it's not the habit of members in safe seats to deliver for the constituents. Take a look at battleground seats, for instance. It's a totally different story. Both major parties seem to be finding money, and they're handing it out hand over fist for infrastructure and water security and better communication, so long as it's in a battleground seat.
You're looking at this from a commentator's point of view. Somewhere where the coalition has been energised in regional areas is places where they're at risk of or losing seats to the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers in inner western and southern New South Wales. So it seems you are bringing some of that attention to those regional seats by getting a strong vote.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the members of the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party, they're on the ground and they're having a go, and they're in the thick of it, and they're helping people where they need it most. And I think that's really, the party is growing on that respect.
And look, you've just to be clear, clear, you've got, several MPs in the state parliament. It's not as though you're one of these micro parties that sort of has popped up overnight. You've had a fair few seats around the parliaments of the nation.
Yeah, look, I think we're the fastest growing party in the country. We've got a couple of upper house members, and we've got we had 3 lower house members, but we parted ways with Helen Dalton. But we've still got 2 members, and we're looking at having a very good hard go back in the seat of Murray next state election.
Yeah, and that state election I think is next March. Have I got that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no worries. But the focus right now is on the May 21 federal election. You'll be on the ballot paper. What have you got a letter? Where are you drawn on the ballot paper? Do you know?
Yeah, I think it's M. It's somewhere right in the middle.
Yep. All right. So they look you up under M on the ballot paper for Shane Jurek for the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate your time and all the best on the 21st of May.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was a pleasure.